Hello and welcome. My name is Danny DeLillo and we're here at the NFMLA Los Angeles showroom in West Hollywood, and I'm here with Jerrell and Patrick with their movie True American. Let's take a look at a clip.
I get asked if I'm qualified. I served 3 years in the U.S. Army's Kabul Mortician's office. Served my country, came home, and built something. I bleed red, white, and blue. I am a true American. So yeah, I'd say I'm qualified.
Guys, thank you so much for being with us today and congratulations on your film. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I want to give it all away, but you guys should tell a brief synopsis for those that haven't seen it.
Sure. So True American is about a former soldier who was a mortician in the war who came home to his very small town that can sustain very little business and sets up his government-given skill of being a mortician in this small town. And it's kind of comically painful to watch somebody try to be a good American who did everything he's told to do, you know, serve his country, develop a skill, come home and like put that to use. And, you know, it's comically painful to watch it, but he's also kind of a monster who's just kind of waiting around for his close friends' grandparents to die. And so he can like, you know, move up in the world a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's a fascinating film. I thoroughly enjoyed it, if that's the right thing to say. But you guys obviously a great team together. Jerrell, you directed it. Where did the inspiration come from in making this film? Where did it happen?
So I actually grew up in a small town like this, and I actually grew up with a guy who went to Iraq and was a mortician in Baghdad during the war. And he came home and seemed to be unaware of how maybe troubled and disturbed he was. He had bought a flat screen TV, and this was all being posted on Facebook. He bought a flat screen TV. He was setting it up. He's taking pictures. He's so boastful, so proud. And then he's so frustrated setting it up that he completely loses his mind and breaks it to bits. And he's documenting that and putting it on Facebook as well. And I kind of watched this over a 45-minute period and just I was like laughing but devastated for this guy. And I wrote a first draft of this in response to that, just kind of process what I saw.
Wow, that's it's quite an amazing story, you know, taking it from that. So thank you, Facebook, I guess. But Jerrell, how did you come involved with the project?
Patrick and I went to school together at UCLA. We've always wanted to work together, and he pitched me a few different things. I fell in love with Kyle when he first told me about it. I actually come from a military family, so I grew up around military people, and it was all about like, when you turn 18, you should definitely join the force. You know what I mean, so that you can like make something of yourself when you leave. So I fell in love with Kyle and the idea, like he was saying, of you do everything you're supposed to the right way that everyone tells you to, and when you come back, is that really what it is? Yeah. And it's tragically hilarious.
It is tragically hilarious. That's the greatest. Definitely is. I just, you know, again, it was, you know, great writing and wonderfully directed. So what a great team you guys have got going on. But you just have to have those actors that can deliver this type of style of comedy. How did you come across finding them?
Well, Brennan, a lot of actors turned out for this. They appeared to really like the characters, so we had a lot of options, which was great. But Brennan was really a lucky find. I kind of asked every director I know who I like, who do you like? Who are actors you like? And they, you know, would send me all these reels. Brennan actually had kind of a very busted reel where it was like, what are we looking at? It's like, but like, I'd been told he was really great, and there was like bizarre commitment to really bad writing. No offense to the people who worked with Brennan, but there was some bad writing, and he was so committed that I was like, man, I mean, if he's that committed to that, like, it'd be interesting to watch him do something else. Yeah. So as soon as we brought him in, it was like he walked out, and we just kind of, I mean, we saw like 15 other people after him, but it was like he was the first guy we saw, and it was like,
oh really?
It was like, well, that's
it.
Yeah. Every person that came in after Brennan was like, dang.
It was great. It's great when you find that person. It's like, oh, that's it. That's the moment. That's the person. Yeah. Now, I loved the setting of where it was. It just felt like one of those sort of like lost little towns, but there's a little bit more story to that. How did he find about the location wasn't too difficult?
Well, so there's this little town just north of here, 25, 30 miles north of here called Piru, and there's all kinds of filming that happens there. In fact, most of like Justified, the small town stuff in like True Blood, all these shows, all these commercials. We showed up and we were like, oh, we're going to be like heroes of this little town by showing up and wanting to film here. And we very quickly run into the fact that this is basically, this whole town's industry is ripping off film sets. It's almost like there's an old episode of The Simpsons where like the small town like takes all the money from the big Hollywood production. It's these guys are used to dealing with big TV sets.
So like,
we showed up. We thought there's like the one restaurant in town would like cater, and they'd love that where they'd cater for us, and it just turned out like they cater all the time, and they don't care at all about our little student film. And it quickly got turned into like us having to protect ourselves from this little town.
The egos were too big, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very funny. So I mean, again, like it's a big feat putting on this particular show, and not to mention, I mean, you had certain moments in there where supposedly you were, you know, putting a body into a U-Haul. So how do you what in independent filmmaking? How do you deal with stuff? Because I'm sure you may have had a few onlookers just kind of watching, thinking what's going on here, or was it
that guy's house?
Yeah, we had this property where that trailer was on it, and we actually shot the reverse side of right across the way from the main character's trailer. Is the guy's like barn house. His big barn house, and we just used that as the location he'd go pick the corpse up at. And the corpse is actually our other producer, Aaron Edmonds. He's in there.
I love how producers get involved. It's awesome. Get involved. Get yourself in a body bag. It's awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say were some of the biggest challenges that you had?
Dealing with that little town and the permitting was a big issue. Making sure it was clear enough. Honestly, it's very nuanced, even though it's like kind of grandiose and there's like all this like very kind of hyperbolic classical music going on in it and everything. It's narratively, it's very nuanced, and we're not even sure if it quite is clear enough. Actually, like it might just be a little shy. But that's the creative challenge. The physical production challenge was really just dealing with the permitting of that town and like the locations. It became much more of a quagmire than we initially thought. We went up there and we're like, oh my God, it's all perfect. And it is, because it's a living film set, the whole town. And it's like, they're very good at using that. And
What's it like to, after all this time all the efforts that you've made, what's it like to have your film set to the NewFilmmakers LA and have it in front of an audience? What is that feeling like?
It was the first time we got to watch it with an audience.
Yeah,
and
it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, other than our friends, we watched one with our friends, but it was actually something I've been really looking forward to for months. I've been like anxiously waiting, watching this movie with an audience, and they really responded. Like it got all the laughs we were looking to get. It seemed to get a couple of sighs of like kind of bittersweet pain at the end, and it's like those were the things we were going for. And it was I always like to sit at the back and look at all the heads while I'm watching my own movie. And like it seemed to get everything we were hoping to get in there.
That's so funny. You're opposite from me.
Yeah.
I like to sit close so I can hear their
Oh,
voices
how
that go
funny.
forward.
See, that's why they're a good combo, because they have, that's a good thing. You can be at the back and you can be at the front. You can tell
exactly
each other.
what happens.
Get some walkie-talkies or something. You can communicate.
Yeah.
So obviously it's really great when you got a great team, because I mean, team is everything, and obviously you guys went to school together, you worked together. What is next for you both?
Well, he went off and did a movie with James Franco.
Oh, well, okay. He's already deserved. Okay, I see where this is going.
That happened recently.
Very good. That's fantastic.
And I'm doing a feature documentary. And that's my day to day. And then we're both developing several projects, but a couple of them are together for the team to basically do. Yeah.
Fantastic. So you took us into the lives of these great people, and this is a short film. So you're leaving it there. There's no way we can rekindle these characters. Not even if we beg.
If this character were to come back, it would be as a side character in another story.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing that.
I do too.
Yeah, ask James. He wants to play it for you. No, listen, congratulations on True American. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it, and it kind of did leave me wanting more. So it was really very, very good. And if you haven't seen it, you'll really, really enjoy it. It's the most excited you ever get about a funeral home. So enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.